Welcome to lesson 3.8, which we will be trying answering the question, what is the best strategy for me to use when adding large numbers? Now, as you might imagine, we are going to be touching on those strategies that we talked about in lesson 3-7. And like I said last time, is that we want you to find a strategy that is going to be useful for you. I will tell you that I use a certain strategy, but that's because that's how my brain works, and that's the best for my brain. Your brain is different than my brain. So don't worry about whether or not your strategy is the same as Mr. Winkleman's. Worry about whether or not your strategy is the best for you as a learner and for you as a mathematician. Now, what we're starting to do, and what I've started to do in the last couple videos, is that we're going to start off just reviewing some things, because there's some certain things that I'm seeing that I want to make sure that we are aware of and that we have been paying attention. So we're going to start off the same way we started yesterday then, with a little bit of review. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to underline sections of this number that I want you to come up with the name of that section. So as you see these sections, how would you name them? What would you label them? All right. I'm going to pause the video, and why don't you take some time and name them, and then when you're done, start the video again. Hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, when you have the purple section, if you want to call that anything, you can call that the ones column. The greens column, that is the hundreds, because it starts with the hundreds place right there. Your blue column, hopefully you came up with that being the thousands column. Oops, I didn't get my, there we go, thousands. And then hopefully you remembered that the red, and we have to change color here, that, oops, that is the millions column. The millions, not column, but it's the millions place value. So we have our ones, our hundreds, our thousands, and then our millions. What comes next? That would be billions. Now, one of the things I want to touch on today is some of the things that when we've been working on homework, some of the errors that I've been seeing. What we're going to do is we're going to take these numbers. Let's just go with 3.1 and 3.01, 3.11, 3.011, and 3.2. And we're going to put these in order from greatest to least value. Now, what I'm seeing, boys and girls, is that sometimes we're just looking at numbers and we're just placing them all willy-nilly in a line, and it's not helping us be successful. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pause the video, put these numbers in order greatest to least, and then check and see and restart the video to see how well you did with when I give you the answer. Now, hopefully you have the answer down. Okay, and now let's work through the problem and see what's from greatest to least. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at all the first numbers. Are they all in the same spot? One spot, one spot, one spot, one spot, one spot. And they're all threes, aren't they? So that's not going to do us any good. And if I want, I can just kind of put a line through it so I know that I've checked through that number. The next number we're going to look at is the tenths spot. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to underline that in red because that's where we're focusing. And we're looking at the greatest number with the greatest value. Well, I have a 1, a 0, a 1, a 0, and a 2. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my mathematical knowledge is fairly good. But hopefully, even a kindergartner knows that 2 is greater than 0, which is greater than 1, which is greater than 0, and is greater than 1. So our first number, the number with the greatest value, is 3.2. Now, what comes next, 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 and next? We're going to have to figure out. Well, what we can do right away, boys and girls, is if we know 2 is the largest, and we've just gotten rid of that, we know that 0 and 0 are the least value. So we can just put a box around those two, knowing that we will come back to those once we figure out, because 1 is in between 2 and 0. Next step, we're going to look at the 1, 1, 1. Now we're going to look at the neighbor to the right. Uh-oh, I've got nothing here and I've got 1 here. Now if I need to, boys and girls, I can fill this up with a 0. So I have 0.1, I have 0.10, 3.10, or 3.11. Well, I have 3 and 10 hundredths or 3 and 11 hundredths. What's greater, 10 or 11? Well, hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, you know that 11 is greater than 10. So this becomes 3.11 and then 3.10. Then we can cross this one out, cross this one out. Now we have 3.01 and 3.011. Now this one we have 0's the same, 1's the same, and now we go to the third digit which is a 1, which is nothing. Or we can fill it in and make it a 0. So now we have 3.010, 3.011. Well, this 1, ladies and gentlemen, is greater than this 0 here. So we're going to put 3.011 and 3.01. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we compare numbers and put numbers in order when there are decimals, which is something that I've noticed that we've had a few problems with. All right, this is the end of video for lesson 3-8, video 1. I will tell you that we have a short, well, we don't have a short, we only have 2 more videos today. So without further ado, let's stop this one and get ready for lesson 3-8, video 2.